Welcome to Behind the Business, the podcast where we cut through the noise and get real about running a profitable business. I'm Pamela Hilton, CPA, with over 30 years in accounting, tax, payroll, and business advisory services. Each week, I will share stories from the field, answering real questions from business owners, and give you the straight talk you need to grow and protect your business. No fluff, no hype, just practical advice that works in the real world. So, let's get to it. Welcome back to Behind the Business. I'm Pamela Hilton, CPA and business advisor, and this topic for this podcast is one that really hits home with me. It's one that I discuss time and time again with prospects out there, and it's why DIY can kill your business, especially if you're DIYing your accounting and taxes. The whole reason why you started your business is to make money. You want to either leave your job or you want this to replace your income, and you want to make money and create some financial freedom. And you don't really love the idea of coming home and cracking open your computer and like crunching some numbers. But you can't afford to hire somebody to do it for you. So you're forced to do the DIY route. And what we tell clients is that's fine your first year. Everybody starts out that way. Everybody starts out with a spreadsheet or with some simple software. But the DIY mindset, taking care of the numbers yourself, what most people do not understand is that it's actually costing them more in time, effort, sanity, taxes, and just overall profitability with their business. It will cripple you in the long run if you continue to DIY and use the spreadsheet and kind of not listen to your advisors out there. So, what we see a lot when I take a prospecting call is clients who've outgrown their system. They're making money now, and they are really clinging to their system because it's the only system they know. And I get it, and it can be a little hard to change. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the allure of DIY, the hidden costs of doing your own accounting, the real impact on your business, when to shift from DIY to an actual adult big person system, what you should be doing instead. Okay? So, the allure, I get it. You're drawn to doing it yourself because you listen to the marketing out there. It says all you need is this software and link up your bank accounts and it will categorize it all for you. And that seems really great. And for this low monthly fee for just the software, you can just do it yourself. I get it. It can't be that complicated because you're linking your bank account and you can see all of the marketing and the hype around that. And you want to maintain the control. And it just seems easier than having to go out and hire somebody and interview people. And it just seems like it's easier and quicker to do it this way. Get it? These are all valid feelings. We've all felt it. And like I said, everybody kind of starts out that way. But doing that past your first year in business is really just holding you back. Certain business types have to have an accounting system in order to create accurate numbers, accurate financial statements in order to do a tax return. If you are an S Corp, if you are a multi-member LLC, if you are a C Corp, if that's how you are organized, you really have to have a profit and loss and balance sheet, formal software that will do that in order to do a tax return. It's really the only way to do it. If you're working with somebody who will prepare your return without an accounting system, you're really doing yourself a disfavor because it's those numbers beyond the scope of this podcast. But trust me when I tell you that you really need full financial statements in order to properly do the accounting and to be in compliance and do your tax returns. So a little quick client story. I do have clients who do their own accounting. I have one client who does their own accounting, but does not have any kind of software to do the accounting on, and they consistently overpay in taxes. They consistently do not pay estimated tax payments and then pay tax penalties and late filing fees. And then at one point they had their whole entity dissolved because they weren't then just unsure of the compliance issues that go along with being a corporation and having a solid financial system in place. So using software, being aware, being engaged, being plugged in to what's going on with your business is always a good idea. It's always a good idea. Being disengaged and ignoring the compliance issues and ignoring the fact that every single business on this planet uses accounting to track its business, and that's how like our whole economy is set up. You have to use proper software. And if you don't understand accounting, which most business owners of course do not, hiring a competent person to do the accounting, a qualified and expert, somebody who knows what they're doing to run the accounting software and to manage your numbers, it's an investment in your business that will pay dividends way more than you are paying in their fees. So what are the hidden costs that people probably aren't thinking of when they're doing their own accounting? Number one, and I know, I have clients who are so invested in their spreadsheets, it's a drain on your time. You may think that you are taking the time to know your numbers and taking the time to understand your business, but if you're still using a spreadsheet, that time can be automated and much better spent when you've got it in a system that's meant to do that. You don't need to reinvent the wheel with your spreadsheet. Use accounting software as it's meant to be used, okay? Costly errors. Most people who don't understand accounting and don't understand the complexity of it as it goes into keeping track of your numbers for your business, you can miss deductions, you can double pay expenses. I've had people use different accounting softwares where they're double counting income and paying taxes on that income that their system has double counted, not categorizing things properly in their accounting system. I see clients who regularly will send me their like car payments, for example. You can't deduct the loan payments for your car, and those are going into car expenses on a regular basis. That's not correct. And then when you get a little bit further into it, if you were doing your own accounting and you have accounting software using a spreadsheet, if God forbid you ever had an IRS audit or a tax audit, it's going to be that much harder to substantiate your tax returns, the numbers that you have on your tax returns. The IRS agent doesn't want to see your spreadsheet. They want to see a formal accounting system. Serious business owners use accounting software and accounting systems and professionals to run those accounting systems. Serious business owners, that's what they do. Lost strategy. If you're constantly being wrapped up in the minutia of recording the numbers in your spreadsheet, you're not really leaving room in your calendar to strategize and to run your business and to grow your business. Like I said, use the software for what it's intended. It does it nicely. You don't have to reinvent things. And you can produce reports that will help you make management decisions. And it will do it far better than anything you can create on your own. The mental load of doing it all keeps you in reactive and survival mode instead of, as a business owner, you should be in the role of proactive and seeing things on the horizon before they get there and anticipating things in your business. But if you're caught up in, like I said, the day-to-day stuff, you're going to be in reactive mode all the time. And that's not a healthy place to be in as a business owner. So DIY might sound like you're being resourceful and clever, but in reality, it's a little bit, you're self-sabotaging your business if you maintain that DIY mentality. It's holding you back, and it's not creating opportunities for growth in your business. So let's talk about what the real impact is of clinging to your DIY system. So I have clients who will send me that I've had to turn down. I can't do your tax return because you don't have, your business is just far too big, or you're an S corporation, you need to have accounting system. We need to know what your shareholder distributions are, what your equity is, what your basis is in the company, your balance sheet, profit and loss. So we've had to turn clients down. Or they will tell us, okay, fine, let's have you do the accounting. But now it's tax season, so we have to tell them, okay, we will do your accounting for you for the whole prior year, but you have to go on extension because that's a huge task and we can't set aside resources to do 12 months of accounting for your $1 million business in the middle of tax season. So you have to go on extension and we'll catch up with your accounting after tax filing deadline. I have clients who, because they didn't have a formal accounting system, or they were DIYing their accounting system, having family members do their accounting for them who weren't qualified, they weren't able to get they did not get financing for their business. They were turned down because their numbers were such a mess, and they had, among other issues, running personal expenses through the business. They had a negative equity. They really didn't, but their poor accounting showed that they had a negative equity in their business. No bank or loan company would give them a loan to expand their business because of the poor accounting. Another company that we had was using online software, but because they had multiple accounts linked to the software, it was automatically doubling their revenue for every invoice. And they would have paid taxes on that. They think they're having a great year, but they would have paid taxes on that doubled up income had we not gone in and redone all of their accounting for them, because they just didn't realize, they just didn't know, because it's the lack of knowledge of accounting. It's more complex than you really imagine it is. And they think that the software is doing it for them. So they were kind of DIYing things, linking things, and then they didn't realize that the software was doubling their income. So that's kind of the real impact, the real live situations, scenarios that I've seen, and many, many others, about the impact of DIYing. I could tell you stories for days. So when to stop? When's the turning point? When do you stop doing the DIY stuff? When you don't have time, you hate doing it. Like I said, every year, every business on the planet started off with some sort of spreadsheet when they're first starting out. But if you feel like it's overwhelming and you don't have a clue how to get the numbers, good numbers, and your business is growing rapidly. If your business is off like a shot and it's growing rapidly, then you really owe it to yourself and your business to stop the DIY and to get some software and some professionals who are running it for you. If you're always in a panic, and like I said, if it's just something you just really don't feel comfortable doing, then it's time to hand that task over to a qualified person. Because like I said, and I'll say it again, it's an investment in your business. It's an investment in the growth and the profitability, and it's an investment in your long-term wealth to have a qualified person, expert, professional handling those numbers for you instead of you doing it yourself. What do you do instead? Hiring professionals, find out who your colleagues are using, what they're using for software, what they're using for people to run it, what luck they've had. Like I said, we recommend Xero. We have accounting and tax packages, monthly subscription packages that include everything: the bookkeeping and accounting, the tax returns, the payroll, the tax planning and strategizing. All of those things are wrapped up into different packages that we offer, and they're on a monthly flat fee subscription basis for the whole year. And those are the things that weigh heavy on people, and that we've been doing for 30 plus years. And it's our pleasure. It's my pleasure to help companies take that off their plate. We're qualified, and we love to watch businesses grow and thrive. So if you kind of crave some clarity, you hate the chaos of the numbers and the stress of having to keep up with that, and the burden of knowing that you're so far behind, then you need to take the next steps and contact either me or somebody else who does things like we do here at Hilton CPA, and know that you have a trusted advisor in your corner. Not only are they doing the books and the things and the crunching the numbers part, but you have a trusted support system and advisor to kind of help you grow your business. If you are a DIYer out there listening and any of what I've said today kind of resonates and hits home with you, then book a discovery call. We can point you in the right direction of what you need for your company to get out of DIY mode and into growth mode for your company, and let your company do what it's meant to do, be profitable and bring some money in and build your wealth. So that's our latest episode of Behind the Business. If you like what you heard, share it. If you know other business owners who are struggling with the DIY mentality, share this episode with them. And we will see you next time on Behind the Business. Thanks for listening to Behind the Business. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with another business owner who could use some real world advice. For free resources, tools, and to submit your own business questions, head on over to my website, PamelaHiltonCPA.com. Until next time, keep building smart and keep looking behind the business.